The zombies community has had its fair share of scandals just like any community that's lasted for 15 years, but just for the fun of it, let's go over some of the more interesting ones, and there's enough of them that I'll probably need another video to cover a lot of the best ones, so tell me if that's something you little drama goblins are interested in. And for this video, let's start off with the one that I was actually involved in myself and how I kind of sort of leaked Zombies Chronicles. So back in 2017, I was friends with a somewhat large group of other mostly small zombies YouTubers. One of those people was named Jug, who had around the time been becoming more popular by the day. But he also had a cousin that was a famous GTA YouTuber with around 1 million subscribers. Because Jug and this cousin were really close with each other, Jug would get introduced to other big YouTubers and become friends with them as well. And the rest of the group, we knew that one of those good friends of his was Mr. Dalek JD, so randomly one day in a group Skype chat we all had, Jug sends us a message that he wants to show everyone something really interesting. We all get in this Skype call and Jug screen shares some messages with Dalek where he talks about how him and a group of large YouTubers had flown out to Treyarch's offices to record early footage of Zombies Chronicles. There were some other details in there about how many maps there was and roughly when it was going to be released, and now this info had been shared with the promise that none of us in the group would screenshot anything or make videos about it. And because most of us were good friends, none of us did except for one guy. His name was Zombie Prodigy, and with that pretty damning screenshot of Dalek saying that, hey, this crazy 5th DLC pack we've been speculating about for months is real, he went around sharing it and just at least talking about it to a huge group of people. So with no real way to keep this information totally private anymore, and after talking to the Gaming Revolution, who's going to come up later in this video again, we both, along with I believe Glitching Queen and Zombie Prodigy, made videos with varying levels of information about Zombies Chronicles. I talked roughly about the information that I knew without outright saying where it all came from. It was a real trust me bro moment. That video, funnily enough, was actually part of what gave my channel its initial first big boost in the algorithm, even though I'm literally not a leaker at all. What made this so dramatic though was because some of the people actually said the information was from Dalek or straight up included the screenshots in their videos, Activision was obviously not happy. And I think it's no real coincidence that he wasn't invited to any early capture events for quite a while after that. Plus obviously the fallout from it being confirmed that Zombies Chronicles was real kind of melted down the internet for a week or two. This next one though is a lot darker and there's no real way to sugarcoat that. There was a prominent community member named Eric who had been around for more than a decade. He was a big name in the lore side of things and he worked on Dare East Declassified, which is one of the most downloaded custom zombies maps ever. And he had helped run the zombies subreddit for years, but if you knew him personally, you knew that all of that was just a carefully crafted public persona. You see, Eric was one of the biggest leakers in zombies history as well, with him actually being a member of the group who leaked all of the early Black Ops 4 gameplay, if you remember that. But that's not the drama though, so basically some Twitter users a couple of months ago began to expose Eric for a lot of the things that he had been doing over the last few years. One of his former friends had actually come out with a story of how they were talking in Discord one time, and I'm just going to put a warning here for anyone who doesn't like violence. The story that he told was about how Eric had apparently run over a few cats that he owned with a lawnmower. Obviously you can kind of guess what happened to those cats. Someone else who was on the call actually confirmed that the story was told, and there's no real way to know if Eric actually did this or made some weird fucked up story, but if it's fake then why would you even say something like that? This was just the tip of the Eric iceberg though, because his old profile picture used to be a rendering of Kevin Smith from Raven the Redwoods with the swastika. A lot of other people would chime in about how Eric just had some really weird shit to say a lot of the time. And this whole thing culminated with all of us finding out that he had actually been hired by Treyarch. And it just so happened to be a complete coincidence that he had been hired by Treyarch and then he got exposed pretty much immediately afterwards. So after a lot of back and forth, it was eventually decided that Eric would no longer work there, and I think that honestly, Treyarch, that's kind of a big W for you guys. They took action and they said, you know what, we see all the information, we see that everything's legit, they verified all of it, and they said, we just don't want this person working at our company anymore. But you know what's not going to get you fired and will actually probably get you a raise if your boss catches you playing it at work? Call of Dragons. It's an MMO fantasy conquest game developed by the creators of Rise of Kingdoms. At its core, Call of Dragons is a 4X strategy game with MMORPG elements that lets you explore a vast fantasy world with unlimited possibilities to explore. Like recruiting magical heroes such as mighty orcs, frost mages, and elven maidens, for my waifu boys out there of course. Join your allies to hunt the terrifying behemoths and expand your territory. Fighting them is always a brutal test of survival where mastering their attack patterns and utilizing your entire team's team's ability is the only way to win. There's also guild versus guild battles where you'll fight a variety of behemoths in crazy untamed battlegrounds. And as a beastmaster in this mode, you can control behemoth yourself to secure dominance and capture even more lands for yourself. There's super powerful behemoths like a flame dragon who, when combined with a good strategy, can crush a whole battlefield with its fiery destruction. If you can tame it, then go and challenge the ancient giant bears of the frozen mountains or thunder orcs who roam Mount Tempest on Call of Dragon's huge 3.88 square kilometer map. Get all of the loot that you can because Tamaris is always on the edge of chaos, but your stronghold will always stand. So you can create a safe haven even in the chaos, and you can use my special code CODMonster to get special in-game rewards, or scan the QR code on screen or download through the link in the description now. Thank you to Call of Dragons for sponsoring this video. I've actually talked about this one a little bit, but there's a lot more to it that should have been talked about. So when Black Ops 4 first released, we all know about the game's many crashing issues, especially on high rounds, and when it was discovered that on Classified, the main quest was only able to be completed by reaching round 150, it caused a lot of issues. After over 2 weeks from launch of waiting for some kind of patch to be released so someone could complete it, something really just had to be done. So the gaming revolution used a glitch where you were able to enter custom mutations, swap around the settings for your game, and then bring those over into a real match. What he changed over was his health is maxed out to 350, gave himself 99 self revives, and changed all of the zombies into hellhounds. With this combined with the game's cartoon filter being turned on, which had shown some promise in preventing crashes, the gaming revolution was set. By sitting in the map's elevators, hellhounds would spawn in way quicker than normal zombies, and he was able to become the first person to finish the Classified main quest in the entire world. Now this made pretty much everyone across the board very upset. Reddit was mad because TGR had always been on their bad side for him making some clickbait videos years before. YouTubers were mad because the cutscene was watermarked and they couldn't just re-upload the cutscene for views without asking him first. Twitter was mad because it's Twitter, and high rounders were upset because this was the first time a main quest had been designed to be only completed by good players. They'd felt kind of robbed that someone who isn't a high rounder completed it before they did simply because he found a glitch while they were still trying to do it legitimately, but Black Ops 4 was just too unstable. Pretty much everyone you could find in the community had an opinion on this, but TGR was caught right in the middle and, like I said before, became the community's punching bag for a little while purely because he was the wrong person at the wrong time. And it's not like Black Ops 4 was fixed the next day either, so it was pointless. It still took over a month after this for the first somewhat effective crashing fixes were implemented that could help someone beat Classified legitimately. Hell, even today you'll still find people who are struggling to finish Classified without crashing at least one time. And lastly is one I got requested to talk about a lot in my video of zombies YouTubers who disappeared, and that's Nixaru/Vixaria. If you're unfamiliar with who they are, Nixaru initially was a zombies YouTuber who from probably 2012 until 2016 made some decent zombies content and tried new topics like assorted game shows and podcasts. But eventually she struck gold after starting a new series of in-depth breakdowns about the world record history of each zombies map. It was pretty well researched and well-made content that gained them a huge new audience. Then while doing that, Nixaru began doing map reviews, which was also somewhat of a new thing at the time, especially since they were quite well thought out and articulated really well. But cracks began to show in their audience when during a Shaolin Shuffle review, Nixaru made a comment about a strip club in the map that was sexist and didn't really need to be there. After the pushback from their audience, Nixaru kept on making content for a while until when Ancient Evil released. During the map's ending cutscenes, Scarlet is put under a spell and is controlled by Medusa, who then kisses her, and in Nixaru's review they said that that was assault. Which yes, it actually is by the law, but this blew up way more than it ever should have. The review was dislike bombed like crazy, there was reaction videos, a flood of tweets and Reddit threads, and just so much more other shit. Nixaru was getting so much hate because of that opinion combined with the earlier Shaolin Shuffle comments. Once that all began to settle down though, Nixaru came out as transgender and changed their name over to Vixaria. And from here on, I forget the exact order of events, so forgive me, but there was a video released talking about that, and almost immediately afterwards, Vixaria announced that she was going to be quitting YouTube for good. And starting a few months later, videos were slowly taken down in bunches until there was literally nothing left. All of the other social medias were either deactivated or went completely inactive as well. From what I'm aware of, Vixaria basically quit to go and focus on their life, plus attend college, and is now just living their life with no real intentions of returning to social media. But one really important thing that I need to talk to you guys about is some of you might have seen different Vixaria or Nixaria accounts floating around in the last couple of months. That is not the real Vixaria, it's some random person who took on that persona and is harassing any YouTuber who ever mentioned Vixaria in any way. This person's now even making weird videos with a robot voice, so just watch out and know it's not the real one, especially because the real one actually came back to YouTube last year and made a community post to say that those accounts are all fake. But I guess that's it for today. Let me know if I should make a part 2 of this video. Now go watch this video where I explain where all of the big zombies YouTubers who disappeared are at in 2023. Thank you for watching, love you, bye bye.